The top big school conference in the state provides us with the premier two teams in the league. West Shore home Friday night rivals presented by Nissan brings us to Raleigh, North Carolina and a Cap 7 duel. The undefeated Millbrook Wildcats play host to last year's 4A state runner-up, the 2-0 Cardinal Gibbons Crusaders. Good evening once again, everybody. Patrick Keenis with Jay Sohnhalter, and Jay Millbrook is emerging in this conference and across the state. They've already knocked off one state runner-up in Leesville Road out of the 4AA class earlier last week, and tonight a shot to take down the Crusaders.
Well, it's going to be a great challenge, but Millbrook's really hot right now, and not only do they want to put themselves in position to finish in first place, but they've got high hopes once they get to the playoffs.
All right, let's take a look at a couple of high-flying stars we will see tonight. We'll start with Cardinal Gibbons and Brock Biesick.
And Brock's committed to Georgetown. We're going to see him lined up at a wide receiver. Also, he'll go in the backfield and play running back. He's a dynamic athlete. And Stephen Wright, the head coach for Cardinal Gibbons, loves using him. He's an explosive guy that we'll see running vertical down the field and also being physical between the tackles. On the other side, Millbrook out at wide receiver. Wesley Grimes, number 1. He's only a junior, but recruiting attention is starting to pick up for him. ACC, SEC schools are looking at him. He's an outstanding route runner, really good hands, but he's a guy that can high point the ball with his 6'3" frame.
All right, let's talk keys. Cardinal Gibbons off to a 2-0 start. Millbrook at 3-0, but they're gaining a lot of attention around the state.
They are, and for Cardinal Gibbons, they really play their best when there's balance on offense, when they can run the ball and then they can use that play-action pass. And also, they want to win the turnover battle, create turnovers and protect the football. The Wildcats want to win the line of scrimmage. They want to be physical up front and then limit the big plays for Cardinal Gibbons. They know there's a lot of athletes out wide. Their secondary has to do a good job of keeping everything in front of them tonight.
Some tornadoes across the triangle yesterday. A lot of down power lines and some branches, but has given way to a nice yet chilly Raleigh Friday night. We're coming back. Kickoff between Millbrook and Cardinal Gibbons is next. .46 degrees on a beautiful Raleigh Friday night. Patrick Keenis, Jay Sohnhalter ready to go for a massive Cap 7 tilt. It is Cardinal Gibbons and Millbrook, and we are ready for the West Shore home kickoff. Convert your old bathtub into a modern and spacious walk-in shower in just one day. Millbrook in the blue uniforms kicking off, and this is Cardinal Gibbons on the return, and we are underway. The drive for the Crusaders will begin around the 22-yard line. Millbrook 3-0, knocking off the 4AA runner-ups last year. Leesville Road convincingly, a game that trailed by 1 at halftime and went on to win, pulling away 34-14. And meanwhile for Cardinal Gibbons, undefeated. They were the 4A runner-up, losing at East Forsyth last year 24-21 in the state title game. And some new components to a very talented team. Connor Clark, the brand new quarterback for Cardinal Gibbons this year. We'll see a wide open offense for the Crusaders and a first down running play for a couple of yards. And that's one of the areas where Millbrook has vastly improved on the defensive end.
Yeah, the defensive line's really been one of the strong points, and they've done a good job really getting pressure, penetration. But this is a deep defense, overall talent at all 3 levels.
All right, a look at the Nissan starting lineups. There's a look at the defense for Millbrook. Xavier Pugh, we'll see a number of these Wildcats play on both sides of the football. Ethan Lentz has had a tremendous start for Millbrook, wearing number 11. Loss of 1 on the first play of the game, and the lefty goes to work, and there's a deep ball thrown by Connor Clark out across the 45-yard line, broken up, incomplete by a strong secondary unit for Millbrook, and that's Jalen Donaldson just back to the football team after he and a couple of teammates won a state basketball championship a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, he's a big piece of that state championship team, and coming back here, switching sports, good job, stride for stride. Now, the last second, getting his hand in to knock the ball out.
And there's a look at the head coach for Cardinal Gibbons, Stephen Wright. Now in his 10th year for the Crusaders. 3rd down and 11 as we get underway. And a shotgun snap to Connor Clark. Another deep ball over the middle, a little bit too far, incomplete, and it's a 3-and-out forced by the Millbrook Wildcat defense.
This Crusaders offense is one of the best in the state. You see they're going to be aggressive tonight and take their shots. They open things up for wide receiver set, so it's going to be important for Millbrook, obviously, to not give up the deep ball, but to tackle in space.
So that is all of a 51-second game-opening possession for Cardinal Gibbons. And a look back at Ethan Lentz, who's back to return this kick coming from Cardinal Gibbons. Pressure coming, and a kick away. And this is going to head into the Cardinal Gibbons sideline. So a picture-perfect start for Millbrook to open up this contest. And the head coach for Millbrook, Clarence Inscore, he believes this could be the best team he has ever had, and he would know. He's now in his 20th season as the head coach for Millbrook. An alumnus of Millbrook High School. There's a look at Clarence. Had a long, great conversation, very enlightening about his program yesterday, and he has a lot of weapons and team unity to boot.
He's got the talent, and I think one of the biggest differences with this year's team is the depth. He's got a lot of backups that he's going to put into the ball game. Older players and younger players, but these guys come in and they don't skip a beat.
Ford Spainhour, senior quarterback, missed last year due to a shoulder injury, and a sprint handoff up the numbers up the left side for about 5 as we take a look at the Nissan starting lineup. So look at the Millbrook offense. Spainhour, the quarterback, great leader, command and respect. Pugh, but Wesley Grimes is the wide receiver to watch, wearing number 1. Already offers from many Power 5 teams in the ACC and SEC. 6 touchdown catches in the last 2 weeks for Wesley Grimes. 2nd and 5 for Millbrook. And an inside handoff, and that is Jalen Donaldson for maybe a yard.
Going up front, Patrick, the really strength of this offense is that offensive line. They're going to have to do a good job running the football and then holding down this defensive line of Cardinal Gibbons.
And a look at the defensive starters for Cardinal Gibbons, brought to you by Nissan. A lot of big names there. John Caramonico, the senior defensive tackle, anchors the middle. Jake Ladd is off to a terrific start, as well as Blake Raphael in the secondary. This is 3rd and 4 for Millbrook at the 41-yard line. Spainhour, quick slant. That's Grimes, his first reception of probably many today. And that'll be enough for a first down to about the 33.
There's safety help over the top. That's a good job knowing where the first down marker is. He cut there on the quick slant route at 4 yards. Good job by Spainhour. Gained the ball out of his hands. There's the safety help over the top, but Gibbons couldn't get there in time.
We were talking with Cardinal Gibbons head coach Stephen Wright about how the defensive assignment looks today. He said, I'm not going to tell you all my cards, but Will Mason, one of our linebackers, will have one of the assignments there, but it is going to be a team-wide challenge to slow down Grimes. First down carry. Pile moves forward thanks to a strong offensive line for Millbrook, and a gain of about 5 for Nick Hudson. We'll see Hudson in the backfield. We'll see Jalen Donaldson a bit in the backfield here for the Millbrook Wildcat offense, and it's a lot of ammunition for Stephen Wright and the Crusaders to deal with. They know that this Millbrook team has been improving over the years, but they've had their number over the last 4 or 5 seasons. Millbrook has failed to knock off Cardinal Gibbons.
And he respects this Millbrook team, especially this offense, of how well they've done as far as their skill position. But his defense is a really fast defense, but that's physical up in the front 7.
Pressure coming after a play fake to Pugh, and Spainhour cannot break free of an ankle tackle. Might have gotten back to about the line of scrimmage. And there you see John Caramonico, the senior defensive tackle, leading the way for the Crusaders.
Well, and this is really what's developed for this Cardinal Gibbons program is the defense. A couple years ago, their defense really started to improve, and now it's playing at a high level. You see how physical it is. There are multiple guys coming in for the tackle.
And Pierce Johnson, number 50, in on that tackle as well. He's just a sophomore. There's some young components to this Cardinal Gibbons defense. Watch Johnston, number 50. He's one of the top young players on this defense. Line to reach at the 23, 3rd and 7 for the Wildcats. Spainhour feels some backside pressure, and a snatch made by Wesley Grimes, high pointing that on the sideline, and he's at the 20, 2nd reception of this drive, and another Millbrook first down.
He's impressive. You can see there the strong hands, but what Millbrook's doing is they see the safety shaded over towards Grimes, so instead of going deep, they're throwing the underneath route, letting him go one-on-one, and he's going to win that most times there. Again, going up with his height, 6'3", it's tough for these smaller defensive backs to guard him.
Yeah, that'll be an NC 529 first down. It's never too early or too late to start saving for education. 2 receptions for Grimes, both on third downs. Ball spotted inside the 20 as this drive continues for the Wildcats. And a bad exchange picked up by Spainhauer, then dropped for about a 5 or 6 yard loss. Good work by Spainhauer to simply pick up that slick football on a 40-degree night.
Yeah, the timing was just off here, and the ball was dropped. It looked like it was going to be a fake jet sweep. And then when the ball goes on the ground, you just got to jump on it and live to fight another down. Good job by Gibbons, though, recognizing and then just attacking up the middle.
There's Donovan Dozier providing the pressure up the middle once that ball deflected off of the leg of Spainhauer. Marking back at the 23-yard line as Donaldson off his right hip, and it's 2nd and long for the Wildcats. Spainhauer looking left the entire way, floats it toward the pylon, incomplete, looking for Caleb Stevens, who was running a slightly different route than what Spainhauer expected. 3rd down.
Yeah, and for this Cardinal Gibbons defense here now on 3rd down, do you bring the blitz or do you sit back in coverage? The number one thing is know where the down and distance marker is, and you cannot allow a big play over the top. But this Gibbons defense, especially in the secondary, they're very rangy, athletic. They do a nice job of communicating with each other. They've been really playing at a high level all season.
They will get a stiff challenge from the Wildcat offense. Put 50 up on Enloe a couple of weeks ago, 34 against the 4AA runner-up Leesville Road squad last week. 3rd and 13. Need to reach the 9 for a new set of downs. 4-receiver formation. Spainhauer, pressure from the front side, tosses over the middle and nearly intercepted inside the 5-yard line. Looking for Ethan Lentz going down the seam, but right through the hands of Chelton Coley, senior out of that secondary, and it's 4th down.
We'll see Coley was kind of playing center field, just reading the eyes, and here this ball a little bit too high. Coley almost able to bring it down, but he was in perfect position and nowhere to go from Millbrook.
And again, it's cool conditions, slick, might have had a slippery football. It just kind of sailed right out of the fingertips of Spainhauer. Now a decision for Millbrook on 4th and 13. You concede and go for a field goal here, or you go for it on 4th down, and the decision has been made. The offense remains on the field for Millbrook.
Well, for Gibbons, you got to look at number 1 down at the bottom of the screen. Looks like a timeout here coming up.
Taken by Millbrook. 6:37 left, opening quarter. A 4th down situation just outside the red zone for Millbrook. Scoreless as we're on our way in Raleigh. .637 left, opening quarter. Millbrook and Cardinal Gibbons. Right now the class of the Cap 7 and 2 of the top big schools in the state. 3 and out forced by the Millbrook defense. And now it's a 4th and 13 for the Millbrook offense. And the Navy uniforms, white numbers. Line of reach is the 9. Wesley Grimes, our top target, bottom of the screen. Faking, thrown across the middle, and then is picked off by the Crusaders inside the 5-yard line. Looking opposite of Grimes for Nathan Leacock, and instead picked off by Cardinal Gibbons. And on the interception, DeJuan Scott's a junior. That's his 2nd pick of the year.
Look at Scott. It's almost like he knew the route being run. He was in perfect position, cut off the route, and just jumped inside. It was a post route. Look at this position. Boxed him out. That's an excellent catch on the run, and Gibbons standing strong on 4th down, getting off the field.
It was an interesting play call, not looking for Grimes there as they overflowed the right side of the field and got the man-to-man matchup with Leacock and Scott. But Scott with the pick, and the 2nd drive offensively for Cardinal Gibbons begins. And a loose ball at the goal line, and who's on it? Millbrook says they have it, and they do. Millbrook coming out of there. That's Cooper Rutledge recovering the fumbled snap right near the goal line for the Wildcats.
The recognition of Rutledge, we'll see him there. This ball on the ground. Look at number 34. This ball, the handoff, just never had possession. There's Rutledge jumping on it. And Millbrook now, sudden change opportunity. You don't convert on 4th down, get a quick turnover right on the doorstep of the end zone.
2 plays, 2 turnovers, but that one is fatal for Cardinal Gibbons because it gives Millbrook a 1st and goal at the 2-yard line. So Spainhauer back out of the gun. Nick Hudson at the back resets to his left. Man in motion. Here's the jet sweep running right and sniffed out beautifully by the Crusaders. And that ball may have come out of there as well. Did it? Yes, it did. Jake Ladd is out of there with the football. Now will the officials agree? There has been no signal yet, but this could be 3 plays and 3 turnovers. And you can see each of the teams are lobbying the officiating crew. We'll take a look.
See jet sweep. The containment by Gibbons, cutting it off. That's a fumble.
And that's Lentz losing the handle on the way down. Jake Ladd, the senior, was there. You see the initial tackle. Donovan Dozier has already had a terrific first half. Ball squirts out. Ladd's on it. And we'll see what the officials have decided. They have said the knee was down. No fumble. Big break, Millbrook. Sure looked like that ball came out, Jay.
Yeah, and I mean, the ball was loose, and Millbrook caught a break here. Now, can you take advantage of it? And for Cardinal Gibbons, that's one they wish they would have caught possession on.
Spainhauer escapes and tripped up inside the 5 right before his nose got to the goal line. And now it presents 3rd and goal for Millbrook.
You know, for Cardinal Gibbons, the call doesn't go your way, but what can you control? You know, you can control trying to strip the ball. You jump on it. You don't get the call. Now come back and fight here and try to keep the Wildcats out of the end zone. That's a nice job. Now 3rd down here. You figure that Millbrook, if they don't pick it up, is going to go for on 4th down. So if you're in that huddle for Cardinal Gibbons, this is where you have to stand strong, get your guys going here and get 2 stops.
Now this is a Cardinal Gibbons defense that has only given up 15 total points in its first 2 games. 8 to Leesville Road, 7 last week to Sanderson. 3rd and goal from just outside the 2. Spainhauer fakes to Donaldson and is ripped down for another loss. And one more time, almost getting inside the Wildcat playbook. Mason was there, Johnston was there again, and another negative play for Millbrook's offense.
Look at this defensive line. I mean, this is just power, strength, multiple Crusaders flowing over to the football. And now 4th down coming up. Can you imagine if Cardinal Gibbons can get off the field here, 1 more down after you don't get the call? What a big boost that would be for this defense.
4th and goal, and now Millbrook will bring out the field goal team, but they're 1 player short. Jalen Donaldson on the field a little bit late. And there's the kicker for Millbrook. Hutch Kreutz, a senior. Out of the hold of the quarterback, Spainhauer, and we get a penalty marker dropped. Maybe delay a game here on Millbrook. And that's the call, and that will push Kreutz 5 yards further back. What a plot twist we have seen over the last couple of minutes. Back-to-back plays led to turnovers, an interception by Cardinal Gibbons inside the 5, then an immediate fumble just outside of the end zone, and then what looked to be a 3rd turnover was not granted by the officials. Field goal is on the way, and this is straight through. Hutch Kreutz will knock it in from 25 yards out, and the first points of the game should belong to Millbrook, although there is 1 more penalty flag on the field. And it is a personal foul, roughing the kicker on Cardinal Gibbons, and they're going to take the points off the board, and this is going to set up a 1st and goal for Millbrook. So there you see the roughing of the kicker. So Millbrook will have the option to take the points off the board, 1st and goal here, and that is what they will do. So it is a scoreless game. They'll mark off the personal foul against Cardinal Gibbons, spot the football at the 6, and a new fresh set of downs here, Jay, for Millbrook.
A second chance opportunity. And for Millbrook here, I think this is where you have to challenge your offensive line. Hey, let's pound the rock in between the tackles. Let's get this touchdown. Starting at the 6-yard line here, this is where you have to be physical, especially up front.
I mean, this could be game-changing if Cardinal Gibbons' defense holds up again with about 10 plays inside the 10-yard line and doesn't surrender any points. What a boon that would be. They will earn it. Spainhauer out of the gun. Hudson to his right. Spainhauer, quick toss left side. He released that a little bit too soon. Caleb Stevens had not yet broken back, and it's incomplete.
And if you're a Cardinal Gibbons Crusader, this is what championship defenses do. You keep your opponent out of the end zone, or you make it extremely difficult for them to get in there. You had a call that didn't go your way, then you had the penalty, but now can you continue to string along good defenses performances down after down? Now again here, the wild throw there, second down. This defensive line has been really good on this drive.
Yeah, they have been unfazed so far. A couple of early catches on the first drive for Wesley Grimes. Nothing on this short field yet. Second and goal. Spainhauer, pump fake, improvising, rolling right. He'll toss toward the pylon. Touchdown! A statuesque catch by Ethan Lentz, who's been a starter since his sophomore year, on second and goal, and Millbrook finally finds the end zone.
Well, Lentz was just kind of hiding in the corner of the end zone. You see the pressure. Spainhauer wanted to go towards the left, then kept his eyes up, and this was a broken play at this point, and Lentz standing right there by the pylon. Good job just presenting himself to his quarterback, and now Millbrook finally getting in the end zone.
So Lentz, the touchdown reception. Good. All-conference player the last 2 years, and on his way to a third, and the extra point drilled through by Hutch Kreutz. 3:39 left opening quarter. Finally, after a dozen attacks inside the red zone, Millbrook on the board, an early touchdown lead on Cardinal Gibbons. Early 7-0 lead, Millbrook on top of Cardinal Gibbons, and what Millbrook's head coach Clarence Inscore believes could be the best team he has ever had here in Wake County. And it took a few extra chops at the bottom of the tree to finally get the Crusader defense to fall over on that second drive, but a 7-0 lead. And time for a West Shore home kickoff. Convert your old bathtub into a modern and spacious walk-in shower in just one day. Well, we'll see what kind of reply we get from the Crusaders here. Returnable kick across the middle of the field. The special teams on the kick coverage stands tall. This drive will begin inside the 20 for Cardinal Gibbons.
Well, for Millbrook there, you always want to score quicker. You finally did capitalize, but the biggest thing was you kept this Crusaders offense off the field. Cardinal Gibbons had the one series of 3 and out, and then the fumble. So this offense has been on the sideline for the majority of this first quarter.
So we saw Clark in the first drive. Cardinal Gibbons very aggressive, a couple of deep balls down the middle. Clark came in as a starter on the JV team from last year, undefeated. A little toss sweep and cutting up the field across the 25 to about the 28-yard line. Good first down yardage for Cardinal Gibbons on that carry, and that's Brock Biestick, our profile offensive star for Cardinal Gibbons.
He's such a really versatile player. We'll see him in the running game today and split out at wide receiver. He's such a matchup nightmare because he's faster than linebackers, bigger than safeties, but he's powerful enough to run the football and win in the running game for Cardinal Gibbons.
So second and short. And Clark will hand it off, keeping it in between the tackles, and driving back the running back is Nolan Hatley, number 41 for Millbrook. And that will present third and short for the Crusaders.
As a defender, it's all about getting off the field on third down. We'll see Hatley here, number 41. Just kind of sniff things out. Nobody blocks you, and then you get your nose in there. Keep your feet driving. Force the running back to fall backwards.
Inside 2.5 left in the opening quarter. See the defensive captain for Millbrook, Grayson Williams, shading his eyes, looking to his sideline, sun right in his eyes. Third and about 2. Clark, the sophomore quarterback, patiently hands off, swinging around the left side, and the extra effort is good. First down and more for Cardinal Gibbons. And that's Jackson Fetterman, senior running back, who's already over 100 yards over the first couple of games here for Cardinal Gibbons. Patiently went with the flow of the offensive line and picked his way up the sideline for a first down.
Yeah, watch Fetterman set up his blocks. Good job just staying patient, and then the quickness takes over. You break, contain, and then use the speed down the sideline, and you break that tackle. He's very compact. He's powerful. Went through a tackle and picked up enough yardage initially to get the first down, but that's what makes him special, is using that speed to get a big gain.
And an NC 529 first down for Fetterman and Cardinal Gibbons. Now they try their right side speed back down to about the 40. That's good for 12 more. So gashing the defense the last couple of plays. That's Donovan Shepard. We'll see a lot of Shepard. We'll see a lot of Beestick. And we'll see plenty of Fetterman as well. Kind of the three options in the running game. But make no mistake, this is a pass-oriented offense for the Crusaders.
Well, it's a good sign for Gibbons. If you can run the ball, that's going to bring those linebackers up and open up the play-action game.
Another NC 529 first down. And a third consecutive run. Wrapped up after a gain of maybe 4. Ball might have come loose again out of the hands, this time of Shepard. Millbrook thought they had the football, but right there you saw a Crusader with the football in his hands. This has been a point of contention here. There's the tackle. And yeah, clearly down, but there's something to be mindful of as this game goes on. Cool conditions, slippery football. We've already seen it put on the ground 3 or 4 times in this opening quarter. Approaching 1 minute left in this opening quarter. 4 receiver formation, 2 stacked left and 2 right. And they widen the field. They play it inside the tackles, and another solid run for a first down for Cardinal Gibbons. And once again, it's Donovan Shepard.
And Stephen Wright sees his offensive line getting leverage and driving back the defensive line of Millbrook. 4 runs in a row. His offensive line is starting to get into a groove now, and you see that push up front. No reason to throw the ball if you're running the ball at a high level.
And Shepard will remain in the backfield. Pistol formation now. And a 1st and 10 inside the Millbrook 30-yard line. One more time, Shepard hops his way out of a tackle and gets down to the 25.
And just watching the O-line, you see the hats, the helmets on both sides. The helmets of Cardinal Gibbons is staying lower. They're driving out, again, getting underneath that defensive line of Millbrook, and they're pushing them back, and that's what's allowing these running backs to get momentum and run downhill.
Inside the final 10 seconds, will Gibbons snap it one more time before the end of the quarter. Clark ready to go. And a little bit of motion on the left side of that line, and this play is going to be called dead. They will take us to the end of the quarter, but there was a flinch by one of the offensive linemen. Looked like James Karamanico, the left tackle. And that's going to be a penalty on Cardinal Gibbons, and will take us to the end of this opening quarter. The official call. So back up the Crusaders 5 more yards. The clock has run out. We are done with the opening quarter. And the 2 top teams in the Cap 7 not disappointing yet. You see a lot of fist pumps and confidence emanating from that Millbrook sideline. A touchdown lead for the Wildcats after 1. And welcome back to Millbrook High School, where it is 7-0 Millbrook after 1. Officially, the first quarter is now in the books. There was a legal procedure penalty against the Crusaders on that last play of the quarter as the clock ran out. And after about 1 minute of discussion, the officials decided for one untimed down to officially end the quarter. And here it is, another handoff to Shepard, who gets undercut just below the knees by Xavier Pugh. So a pickup of around 11 yards right there for Shepard. That takes us officially to the end of the quarter, and now they'll switch sides.
Well, and this drive has really been on the ground. And initially, Cardinal Gibbons came out throwing the ball, trying to loosen up the defense. But now the offensive line's playing well. You've got good depth at the running back position, getting everybody involved. You're picking up chunks of yards each and every time you run the ball and really putting Millbrook kind of on their heels.
And we got to look at Millbrook's head coach, Clarence Inscore, who told us unabashedly yesterday he bleeds Millbrook blue. He doesn't bleed red. This is where he went to high school. This is where he's been the head coach now for 20 years. He's perhaps had other opportunities to leave Millbrook and go to bigger programs, bigger schools, maybe even on the college side, but he said, this is my home. And they've never really gone anywhere beyond the 3rd round of the state playoffs. He feels like this team has all of the elements to make a very deep run next month. Second quarter now about to get underway on a 3rd and 3 for Cardinal Gibbons. Trailing 7-0. Need to get just inside the 18-yard line. A pass swung to the sideline. This will get it done. And the tackle made by Caleb Steele for Millbrook, but not before a Crusader first down. Ian Evans, junior wide receiver, making the reception. And here we go again for Cardinal Gibbons, 1st and goal.
Well, the defense backs playing back. Nice job just throwing the underneath route, getting what you can with this Gibbons offense. Now opening up the playbook a little bit, going through the air. With the bounce that they've had, Millbrook's really guessing at this point on the defensive side.
Just outside the 10, so not 1st and goal. And this is Shepard angling right on our NCDHHS first down. You have a spot, take your shot. Gain of a couple of yards there for Donovan Shepard, who's been the featured back on this drive that has primarily been on the ground for Cardinal Gibbons.
Shepard really running tough in between the tackles and letting his offensive line. This is a really good group up front. 3 seniors leading the way, letting them set their blocks and then really powering through the holes.
2nd and 8. Fake Shepard's way. Pressure coming. Clark felt it, but could not escape. David Santiago, a sophomore linebacker who's just been thrown into the fire defensively this year for Millbrook, but he is an up-and-comer a couple of years down the road. He's going to be getting a lot of attention, and look at that pressure he came with against Connor Clark.
He's got the quickness, and you see the frame, 6'3", 230, and just track down Clark, and you knock him down with that left hand. But this is a guy, look at his body type. Look at the potential that he's going to have with strength, with more weight being added. He's got the athleticism. He's very versatile, especially from the 3-4 linebacker look.
3-man rush to the wide receiver screen, set up brilliantly by the Crusaders. Darting toward the end zone is Evans. Touchdown, Cardinal Gibbons. Beautifully scripted play by Stephen Wright's Crusaders. And Cardinal Gibbons an extra point away from a tie.
And you said it perfectly crafted. Great time for a screen. We'll see here. Gibbons, the O-line, setting up the blocks. Then Evans coming back towards the football. And then it's just the speed, and Stephen Wright knows. Perfect time for the screen, and his offense executed it.
So West Shore home touchdown. Clark to Evans. And the extra point on the way for the tie. A delay here. Penalty marker down. This will go against Cardinal Gibbons. You can convert your old bathtub into a modern and spacious walk-in shower in just one day at West Shore Home. Well, there's a lot to prove for Millbrook in this game. Again, they have not drawn the long straw against this Cardinal Gibbons squad for several years, so there's a lot of build-up. This is kind of the next big stepping stone. The Leesville Road win was critical for Millbrook, but now if they can somehow get past Cardinal Gibbons, it resets the whole look, not only of the conference, but of the state landscape as well. And the extra point is on the way, and it is good, and we are tied. For Cardinal Gibbons, again, unfazed, unflappable. They've been here before. They're not going to get too anxious or too down as they trail early. And a beautiful play on 3rd down that was designed by that man right there, Stephen Wright.
Well, I like how they've been patient. The offensive end call some explosive passing plays that first drive. They don't work out. You have some one-on-one situations. You just don't come down with it. And then now go back to the ground game, and things are really rolling now, and you can go back through the air, and you saw it work to perfection there with the screenplay.
So a 7-7 tie. There's a look at Ethan Lentz, one of the return men for the Wildcats. Millbrook impacted as this season went from the fall to the spring. Couple of players were early graduates at Millbrook that went on. Diego Pounds, an offensive lineman, is now at UNC, and Bryce Steele, who was originally signed to go play at South Carolina, never played there, and he went on to Boston College. So they've had to fill a couple of extra holes, and there's also one big omission on this Cardinal Gibbons squad we'll tell you about, who's actually here at the stadium tonight as this West Shore home kickoff sails through the end zone. That's Jacob Gill, who was the big target, really one of the best wide receivers in the state, played for Cardinal Gibbons last year. Pat Fitzgerald and Northwestern Wildcats signed him, and instead of playing this spring as the Crusaders expected him to do, he left with his coach's blessing, went to Evanston, and has been practicing with the number 2 wide receivers for the Wildcats, who won another bowl game a couple of months ago. But he's actually back here now, and here at this stadium here tonight, trying to cheer on his Crusaders, guys who would have been his teammates had he decided to stay.
Yeah, we saw him pregame, and he's an impressive athlete. And he's a guy, when we've seen him the past couple of years, you can tell that he's going to make an instant impact at the college level early on.
And so Millbrook now in a 7-7 tie, early stages, second quarter. Lentz in motion. Pulling it back is Spainhauer, moving through the middle, takes a couple of hits, and gets across the 25, and driven back, and that ball almost came loose again. Spainhauer comes out there a little bit gimpy. The ball did come out, and it was recovered by Jalen Johnson, sophomore offensive lineman.
See the toughness of Spainhauer. Look at him fighting through tackles, but Gibbons, already the second time we've seen one guy wrap up, another guy knock the ball loose.
It's Will Leary, number 40, looked like the number 43 for Cardinal Gibbons, who got in there, grabbed the football, the nose with his right hand, and just yanked it out of there. And fortunate for Millbrook, they didn't turn it over. But they know what they're getting into. This is a very aggressive and assertive Crusader defense, always has been. Second down, Spainhauer with a little bit of time to throw. Pocket begins to collapse, and that might have been deflected at the line. Incomplete. Third down and 6 upcoming for the Wildcats.
And if you can't get to the quarterback, what's the next best thing? Jake Ladd getting his hands up there. The offensive line right there kind of shading him, but he jumped up, knocked that ball down. Really good job of reading the eyes of Spainhauer.
Grimes goes off at the top of the screen. 2 early receptions, nothing since. But this is where they look to target him when they need to pick up a first down. He is an explosive playmaker. They go opposite him, swing it out, and stretching toward the first down marker, and it's going to be Lentz short by a couple of yards. They'll give him forward progress to about the 28, but he needed the 30, and the defense for the Crusaders has stood tall.
That's where you have to be excellent in open field tackling situations. Millbrook getting the ball quickly out on the perimeter. It comes down to your defensive backs, your linebackers flowing over, and Gibbons running quickly over to the ball to make the tackle.
And again, this is really early in the season. And for Cardinal Gibbons, this is just their 3rd game, so that they're still kind of working through things, getting in a game shape here. And you almost feel like the speed of this game in particular, they've caught up to it after the first series or two. They're going to get excellent field position here as that punt goes out of bounds near the 40. But again, there's no panic for Cardinal Gibbons. Now just feels like they have their feet beneath them. The establishment of the running game and that last drive was big, because now you can look at Cardinal Gibbons and their offense and Connor Clark a chance to really showcase his arm and this excellent wide receiving group. From the 45 is where this drive begins for the Crusaders. And a handoff, and it right in the backfield quickly. And we talked about Jalen Johnson, who recovered a fumble a couple of minutes ago. He's on both sides of the football and just tears down Fetterman in the backfield.
Young sophomore, 6'2", 260. You've got to block him. Unblocked there. Just read the eyes of Clark and then saw the ball handed off and then pounced on it.
There are a number of very talented Millbrook players on both sides of the football. And Johnson, again, just a sophomore. He's at the top of that defensive line. 2nd and 13, and they get into the backfield. Keeping his feet is Fetterman. Races toward the sideline and made a little something out of what it should have been another solid negative play. Still may have lost a yard or two, but it could have been a whole lot worse than that. 3rd and long.
Santiago, Rutledge over there. Look at these linebackers. They're spinning around Fetterman. Good job getting the initial penetration. Not a lot of room to run.
So this drive going backwards. 3rd and 15 now, back at the 40-yard line for Connor Clark and the Crusaders. And there's movement on the left side of that offensive line, and this drive will continue to go in reverse. And that's James Caramatico. And again, for Cardinal Gibbons, ordinarily they would have had 3 games in. One was postponed a couple of weeks ago because of COVID-19 protocols that impacted their team. So, third game of the year as we play a spring football season. You can expect some of these little mistakes, including that one right through the hands of the intended receiver, Beestick, and that brings up 4th down. I mean, these are 2 high-quality, big school programs in this state, but we're seeing a lot of very early season, almost training camp type mistakes.
Yeah, and if this was a normal year, you're going to have 3 or 4 scrimmages, and really, this is kind of the point, the 3rd game for Gibbons, 4th for Millbrook. This is kind of like that point where this would be the first game more scrimmage type feel. So you're facing outstanding competition in a big game, but you just don't have that normal practice time.
And Beestick punting it away, lands right at the 50-yard line. Fortunately, it does take a Crusader roll for an extra 10. But we're going to see excellent field position from Millbrook when we come back. Almost midway through the second quarter, Wildcats and Crusaders locked up in a 7-all tie. Stay tuned for the NC Assist Loan halftime report, where we will have this week's Riddle and Brantley Scholar athletes, highlights from high school hoops, and more. 7-7, Millbrook in the Navy uniforms. Cardinal Gibbons, the 4A runner-up last year in the white and gold. First down pass in and out of the hands of Millbrook's Ethan Lentz. Dangerous pass over the middle, bobbled through the air, and fortunate to land incomplete.
So here, just a quick slant route. It was initially tipped, it looked by Carter Skeers. And just tough for Lentz to hold on to it.
I mean, at this stage of the first half, we certainly are not seeing the best of each of these programs with Millbrook and Cardinal Gibbons. But again, give them a few more games early April. These teams will likely be chugging along a whole lot cleaner than what we've seen so far. Nick Hudson had to reverse course a bit and tackled forward over the 45 to about the 47-yard line. Again, that's Carter Skeers, number 30.
Well, I think in a couple weeks you're going to see the penalties cleaned up, and then offense is so much about timing and consistency, and you'll see a little bit more rhythm. And again, a lot of credit, though, to the defensive sides. These are good defenses, and they're making trouble happen because of their pressure in their front 7 for each quarterback.
Look at the head coach, Stephen Wright, for Cardinal Gibbons, more on his history and how he got here, coming up momentarily. John Caramanico and the Crusader defense trying to get off the field here. 3rd and 3 as we go below 7 minutes left in this first half. Lentz in motion, hit in the backfield, stretching forward, and that's going to be a little bit short of a first down. And this will present the Wildcats with a 4th and 1.
That was Jake Ladd again getting into the backfield. Now it's decision time. I'd expect Millbrook to go for it. But Ladd, we've called his name a couple times, beating the blocks up front. We've seen him knock down a pass as well. Really good defender on the defensive line.
Well, the decision for Clarence Inscore, I mean, 1 yard against this defense has not been easy to get for Millbrook. Do you play field position or do you go here? And it looks like the offense will stay on the field. They need the 50. Spainhour out of the gun. Grimes to the top. And a whistle. And do we have a timeout? Oh, this could be delay against Millbrook. Oh, a cardinal sin for the Wildcats. No timeout. Delay of game penalty, and this might change the entire decision-making process for Clarence Inscore. It's no longer 4th and 1, it's 4th and 6. Unless that was done with intent, perhaps. But my gut is telling me no.
And that's a big mistake. And for now, you're going to have to punt the football here and just hope that you can flip the field.
And it's a knuckler. Lands at the 30. Nobody back to return. And this ball is going to be deadened at the 25-yard line. So a 31-yard kick down by Jacob Fierce. And now the Cardinal Gibbons offense back in the field with a shot at taking their first lead of the game. 5:52 left in the first half. Their head coach, Stephen Wright. You may know that name from when he played in the defensive secondary at UCF. back between 1990 and 1994 when they were just making the transition from a D2 program to a 1AA program. And then right after Stephen Wright graduated, a guy by the name of Dante Culpepper came in at quarterback UCF as they made the transition to a FBS school in 1995. First down handoff, maybe back to the line of scrimmage, but Wright was a captain his senior year of that UCF program. And he made the 1AA playoffs a couple of years. And now here he is in his 10th season. Spent some time coaching in Dallas for a couple of years, but his wife is from the Raleigh area. That's what attracted him and his family back here to the Triangle. 2nd and 11. Clark, pocket collapses. A dart over the middle. A sliding catch made around the 31-yard line by Ian Evans.
Look at the arm strength of Clark. He's a big kid, only a sophomore. A lot of room to grow. 6'5", 212 pounds. Let him sling it here. Just torque his hips and throw the strike. With his arm strength, he can throw the deep vertical route, but there you see the timing that he's really developed on the underneath routes as well. And with his frame, it's so tough to bring him down as well.
And through his first couple of games, he's been very efficient, 75% pass completion rate on 3rd and short. First down yardage and more for the Crusaders. Tackle made by David Santiago, but enough there. Donovan Shepard has had a very nice first half here for Cardinal Gibbons. So an NCDHHS first down. You have a spot, take your shots. Smack of the hands by Clark. And to give to the right side. A running room if Shepard can get in the corner, and he cannot. And a one-man tackle, and one more time it's David Santiago. Another one of the rising and emerging sophomore members of this defensive squad for the Wildcats.
Well, that right side of the offensive line, Ryan and Militello, really did seal off the edge, but it was Santiago keeping contained. He beat his block out on the edge, and he just blew the play up.
Already 6'3" at the age of 15, maybe 16. Major reps in a big conference. And a lot of eyeballs are going to be coming his way over the next couple of years if they're not already. Knifing through, that's enough for a first down into Wildcat territory. One more time, it's Donovan Shepard, the junior running back.
Now, that was a big gain. Santiago there, he was split out wide. That just shows his versatility. Split out on the wide receiver, and he comes back in here for the tackle. But look up front, the offensive line. Everybody driving their feet, again, getting their hands inside and pushing the defenders back.
So an NCDHHS first down for Cardinal Gibbons. They can now think about taking the rest of this first half on this final drive. Pickup of a couple of yards here. Gibbons will also get the football on the other side of halftime. So a chance to maybe seize a little control of this game for the first time here late in the second quarter for Cardinal Gibbons.
Millbrook brought the blitz on first down, both linebackers coming outside. They thought it was going to be a run, and they guessed right, forcing a 2nd and long.
4 receivers across the field. Shepard to the right of Clark. Snap at 245, low throws, and that is incomplete. As it was Brock Beestick try to get underneath and cradle that one in. And a rare errant toss there by Connor Clark.
In this secondary, they've been bringing a safety over the top to shade Beestick, trying to limit his opportunities. So I'm get a jet sweep in there, and opening is not able to convert.
Big play here for the Wildcat defense. 3rd and 8. Trying to protect a 7-7 tie. Showing blitz, and here they come. Clark, pump fake, finds the outlet. A one-handed snare is made, and first down yardage. Shepard bounces off a 1 and is forced forward inside the 30. What a sticky right hand by Donovan Shepard. I mean, that was a fastball coming his way, and he's put that right hand out and just snatched.
Look at the focus. Then he brings it in, and he's not done. The yards after the catch. Here's the power fighting through tackles. A big play for his offensive teammates there, getting that first down, and now you see the clock moving down, this drive continuing. Perfect job of execution.
If that's a drop, it's probably a punt and a shot for Millbrook. Instead, it's first down, and they throw underneath. Reception made to the 20-yard line and down to about the 15, and that's Ian Evans again. Spreading out the offensive wealth. Evans has been targeted 4 times now in this first half, and Donovan Shepard has had a tremendous opening 16 minutes.
This is a deep skill position group, getting everybody involved. It's so tough for defenders to really pinpoint who to slow down, who to double team, because so many guys can hurt you.
First out from the 15. Clark, 4-man rush. Wants everything here toward the end zone. Broken up right at the goal line. David Santiago, he's been everywhere in this first half for Millbrook. A touchdown-saving pass breakup.
There's a deep crosser, and you see there that long wingspan falling back. Good job there, just knocking the ball down. That would have been a huge interception. If he would have been a couple yards back, he could have picked it off. Good job there, soaring through to get it to second down.
2nd and 10 with 1:51 left in the half. Low snap handled by Clark. Finds the outlet. Room up the right side. Angling to the pylon. Touchdown. Brock Biestick. And Cardinal Gibbons for the first time in the game on top.
Stephen Wright is going to watch this film and be so happy with his wide receivers blocking down the field. Look at these guys. There's one big block. Another block right there. Wide receivers helping out their teammates, being physical down the field, and Biestick just letting everything kind of come up, setting up the blocks, and then making moves. And there you see his athleticism, though, easily getting to the end zone.
So another West Shore home touchdown. Convert your old bats up into a modern and spacious walk-in shower in just one day. How big was that 3rd down reception by Donovan Shepard? 2 plays later, Clark to Biestick for the lead. And the extra point driven through. And with 1:43 left in the first half, the Crusaders on top for the first time tonight. 14-7 Gibbons. An 18-yard touchdown reception by Brock Biestick, coming from his sophomore quarterback, Connor Clark. 14-7 is the Gibbons lead. A reminder, stay tuned for the NC Assist Loan halftime report, where we will have this week's Riddle and Brantley Scholar athletes, highlights from all around high school hoops, and more. Well, the Wildcats will get it. Chance to show off their 2-minute offense, ready for a West Shore home kickoff. Convert your old bathtub into a modern and spacious walk-in shower in just one day. A couple of timeouts remaining for Millbrook. And we'll see if they get anything on this kickoff return. It is bobbled, picked up at the 11, and somewhat returnable. And out to about the 24-yard line is where this Millbrook drive will begin. Xavier Pugh on the return. Now, knowing that Gibbons gets the football to begin the 3rd quarter, you're going to be very aggressive, and you're not going to hoist the white flag here over the final minute and a half.
Well, for Millbrook, you've got to get Wesley Grimes involved. We've seen a couple catches as on the first drive, but they've got to get him back involved in the game plan here. Try to highlight him. I know safeties are coming over, double teaming him, but he's your best offensive weapon.
And there's seed number 1, bottom of your screen. Look how tightly he has played right on the line of scrimmage. 6 touchdowns over his last 2 games. But just 2 receptions so far in the first half for Grimes. We'll see if Spainhour looks his way. He does not. Flares it. And boy, the defender had a step. Late penalty marker comes in. Caleb Stevens was there. Pass was a bit underthrown, which might have impacted the coverage and the contact there. And we'll see what the call is. You see some Crusaders shaking their head in disbelief with the call. And it will go on Cardinal Gibbons, pass interference.
Caleb Stevens, a really good route runner. We'll see here. He beat the defender and then just had to wait on the ball. A little bit of contact, but that's one he wish he could have back to bring that in.
That's Will Leary, number 43, called for the infraction. Again, that's one of those things where it was such an underthrown pass. It's not really Leary's fault because he's not looking back at the throw coming in. He's just judging when he closes based on what the receiver is doing. And when Stevens hit the brakes, Leary was kind of hung out to dry.
But it
will be a first down out to about the 38-yard line. 1:31 left in the half and 2 timeouts from Millbrook. Pressure up the middle. Eluded by Spainhour on the run. And that was actually intended for Stevens, but deflected away by Stevens' teammate. That was Nathan Leacock who kind of got in the way. 2 receivers in the same vicinity there from Millbrook.
And Spainhour eluding the pressure once again up the middle. He had to get out of the pocket. Just not able to convert, as that play broke down there. It's tough when you have 2 wide receivers close. That's going to bring 2 defenders over as well. Not a lot of room to operate.
Again, Grimes to the top of the screen now. Will Mason is on him in man coverage. 2nd and 10. And again, not looking his way. Quick pass. Ethan Lentz. Stop and start past the 40. Brought down at around the 45-yard line. The clock continues to move as we close in on 1 minute for the half.
Millbrook has those 2 timeouts. They need to hurry up here, though, and try to conserve some time. We'll see Lentz there with a cutback and get a couple extra yards. Now, Millbrook needs a big chunk play here, explosive play through the air inside of a minute. They've got to get moving.
Need a first down first. Grimes now to the bottom of the screen. 3 receivers to the right. And again, there's number 1, Will Mason. Doing a nice job denying Grimes. Rolling out pressure. Back foot throw is too far. Looking for Leacock near midfield. 4th down now for Millbrook with 41 seconds left. This will be a dangerous part of the field to take a gamble here. And it looks like Millbrook is going to punt it away.
Yeah, you have to punt it here, flip the field, and hopefully this time will run out if you're Millbrook and you go into the halftime break. But here it's too dangerous. Even though you want to be aggressive, you've got to send the punting unit out.
So Chris Jenke is on to kick it away for Millbrook. And a little bit of light pressure, low kick. That stayed airborne for about 9 yards. And then rolls another 15. And so Millbrook will down it at the 34. 31 seconds left and a full slate of timeouts for Cardinal Gibbons. How aggressive will Stephen Wright be over these final half minutes?
Well, I think if you trust your offensive line up front to give your quarterback some protection, you can take some shots and you can use some crossing routes and try to get big gains over the middle because you have those timeouts. But I'd expect Clark here to really fire up his arm and hit some of his wide receivers vertically.
2 touchdown passes already in this game, 4 for the year for Clark. Clap of the hands on this chilly night in Raleigh. He will unload outside the right numbers. The catch is made back at the 43-yard line by Cardinal Gibbons. That's Maverick Shotwell. Junior wideout bringing it in. Terrific throw by Clark. And that changes the look of this final half minute drastically.
It was a corner route by Shotwell, and the offensive line gave Clark plenty of time, and now moving up tempo speed to get this ball snapped.
Clock begins inside 20 seconds. Play fake Clark. He's going deep again, and this is well overthrown near the goal line. 2nd down, 13 seconds left in the half, and still 3 timeouts. But that, Jay, probably gives you 2 plays, maybe 3.
Yeah, and depending on your success here, whether you get in field goal range or not, that's going to depend kind of your strategy. I think here you can go for a quick route and try to at least get into more manageable field goal position. I expect something, slanted towards the outside here.
2nd and 10. Handoff. Shepard. Or take that back. That looks like it's Fetterman instead. He'll get almost to first down territory. Down to about the 33. They're going to stop the clock with 7.6. If it's short after a measurement, they'll reset the clock. And they've now called a timeout, Cardinal Gibbons. So 7.6 left. That now gets them down to about the 33, which certainly gives Clark the ability to get a pass into the end zone if they're going to decide that this will be their final play.
Yeah, and plenty of arm strength with Clark. And I like the play call. Everybody figured it was going to be a pass. You mix in the run. They're getting a lot of yards here on the ground. And now give your offense an opportunity from around the 30.
Meanwhile, the Millbrook defense brought to the sideline on how best to defend without interfering. You don't want to give up an untimed down at the end of the half like we saw at the end of the first quarter here. We have a lot of different wide receiver weapons to account for off of this Cardinal Gibbons offense.
This is the message to your defense. Defensive line, get pressure. Secondary, do not allow the big play over the top. Let everything happen in front of you and make the tackle.
And 4 receivers across the formation, a back there to block. As Clark will take the snap as a whistle is blown. Flags are dropped. And here is the call, offsides against Millbrook. So 5 yards closer. So now they're down to about the 28-yard line. Hard count. Drew a couple of Wildcats off.
See the discipline up front on the offensive line not to jump. Now you move it a little bit closer. It was a big play.
Who will be the target? Ian Evans has been the big one so far in this first half. Millbrook brings 4. Clark gets it off toward the end zone. Trouble, it's tipped away at the last moment. Caleb Steele defending against Ian Evans. 2.1 left. But that was a touchdown denying breakup. And meanwhile, a Cardinal Gibbons player, Jackson Fetterman, is down and injured. And that would be a huge loss for the Crusaders. And he's feeling around that right knee area. Well, let's hope he is okay. He was simply in there to block and provide a little bit more time for Connor Clark. So we'll have one more play left in this first half, but checking in on the status of Cardinal Gibbons, Jackson Fetterman. And we'll get a shot of exactly what happened as best as we can see through our replay here. There's the fake Fetterman's way. There he is trying to apply the block against Cooper Rutledge. And Rutledge ran through him. What did you see, Jay?
Well, it just looked like it was on that right side here. We'll see the block. And it looked like he immediately went down towards his leg. You couldn't really see the knee buckle. You couldn't see the action of what may have been hurt, but that's the attention that he immediately grabbed.
Well, it looked like that right leg and foot was kind of planted, and as he absorbed contact on the rush from Rutledge, it just didn't look like the knee and foot really moved. And putting no weight on that right leg. Boy, you hate to see that. Fetterman, the senior, who's aiming on going the military route, coming up for his college career, and maybe walking on through either like an ROTC program or a more traditional military pursuits into his college days. His head coach, Stephen Wright, just spoke so valiantly about Jackson Fetterman and what he means to this program earlier today when we spoke with him.
He talked about what a kid he was. Such a joy to be around, and a really important player on the field, but doing big things off the field as well.
So we will have one last play of this first half. Cardinal Gibbons leading 14-7. And this one, once again, will go to the end zone for the sophomore QB, Connor Clark. Protection holds, throws left side, back of the end zone, and just overshot his man. That is incomplete. B-stick the intended target right there. And that will take us to a halftime. Millbrook had a touchdown lead after one, but a couple of TD passes from Connor Clark, both 18 yards in length. And at the break at Millbrook, it is Cardinal Gibbons 14, Millbrook 7. And the halftime show, sponsored by NC Assist Loan, on the way. (14-7) halftime lead. Cardinal Gibbons on top of Millbrook. And welcome to the NC Assist Loan halftime reports. And now it's time for the Riddle and Brantley Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Riddle and Brantley is proud to present the Friday Night Rivals Riddle and Brantley Scholar Athlete of the Week. From Cardinal Gibbons High School, the Riddle and Brantley Scholar Athlete of the Week is Jackson Cole Fetterman. Jackson is a 2-time Coaches Award winner, 3-time conference champion, track and field all-conference qualifier in long jump and the 200-meter dash, and carries a 4.3 GPA. Jackson is a member of the National Honor Society, co-founder of a landscaping business, a volunteer for food banks and rescue missions, and has traveled to South Africa twice on mission trips. From Millbrook High School, the Riddle and Brantley Scholar Athlete of the Week is Ethan Lentz. Ethan is a football first-team all-conference on offense and defense, team captain, team MVP, and carries a 3.95 GPA. Ethan participates in highway cleanups, volunteers for Joy Prom, and is involved in the Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
Riddle and Brantley is proud to be a sponsor of the Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Congratulations to these All-Stars, and good luck on your eligibility for a $3,000 scholarship at the end of the season.
Riddle and Brantley. Injured in an accident? Call Riddle and Brantley when justice counts.
And welcome back to the NC Assist Halftime Report, where Cardinal Gibbons leads Millbrook 14-7. And now we'll have a halftime interview with one of our sponsors, Paul Janoski with West Shore Home.
We're talking with Paul Janoski of West Shore Home. Hi, Paul. Thanks for talking with us today. How is West Shore Home different from working with other home improvement companies?
Hey, thanks for asking, Jay, and thanks for having us. The home improvement industry is plagued by complaints of cheap work, poor quality, unmet expectations. So we decided to reinvent home remodeling. At West Shore Home, we believe you deserve a better, safer, and easier home improvement project. So we made our process risk-free, easy design process, trusted installation, and convenient financing.
Why do you feel it's so important for West Shore Home to support high school sports?
Here at West Shore Home, our number one goal is bringing happiness to every home. We're here to support families and children in all of their home improvement projects, as well as their outside activities from the home. That's why for anyone watching this right now, we're going to give you an additional $500 off on our current sale price.
Can you tell the viewers how important this offer really is?
Yeah, this offer is absolutely huge. It's one of the biggest offers we've ever put out there. We believe that homeowners deserve a better, safer, and easier home improvement project, and this will just make it even easier for them. That $500 off all our current sale prices.
Thank you, and it's great to have your support as our Friday Night Rival sponsor.
All right, thank you, Paul. Thank you, Jay. 14-7 Cardinal Gibbons leading Millbrook. More of the NC Assist Loan halftime report when we come back. NC Assist Loan halftime report continues from Millbrook, where Cardinal Gibbons leads the Wildcats 14-7 here at halftime. Patrick Kiedis and Jay Sohnhalter with you. Let's take a look at some highlights from last week's game, which featured a Wakefield, Jay's alma mater, and a Rollsville. This is second down. Play fake, a fake to the sideline, and a keeper room for Brown up the middle to the 30. Foot race toward the end zone. Brown will take it home. It's a third down. Brown improvising. Escapes the pressure. Now will heave it toward the front pylon into the end zone. Caught by the Rams. It's Ethan Harris for the score. Boy, how many college coaches are watching this game just to see him? Deep ball into a double team. Perfectly dropped in. Marcus Baker cradles it in. Had time, hits his man across the middle. Cyrus Routers dodges around a second man, heads toward the pylon, diving forward in the end zone. Touchdown! First down, play fake now. Here's a deep ball. This is a much better throw. Hooking up again with Ethan Harris. 2 minutes left in the half. Quick pass left side. This is Baker. Fingertip grab. Gets past his man. Speeds down the sideline and untackled. And down the sideline goes Marcus Baker. Final play, the third. Brown wants it all, and he will get it. Touchdown again. The Rollsville Rams behind their outstanding rising junior quarterback, Byron Brown. 5 touchdown passes, 2 on the ground. He accounts for 7 of their 8 touchdowns. The clock will run out, and a resounding Rollsville Ram victory over Wakefield. Well, somebody tonight will be lifting that coveted prized trophy. 14-7 Cardinal Gibbons leading Millbrook. And Jay Sohnhalter will get into some highlights from the first half of tonight's game, which features the top 2 teams within the Cap 7.
Yeah, well, Millbrook came out here, and early on, both offenses were having a little bit of troubles. There's some turnovers, giving the ball back and forth to each other, but Millbrook finally secured things. They got here on the goal line. Cardinal Gibbons really made it tough, though, Patrick. They forced a field goal opportunity And then Gibbons here running into the kicker, gave the Wildcats new life, and this is where Millbrook converted.
Yeah, we've seen mistakes from teams that normally would not be making these type of mistakes, but again, it's a different year, and it's early in a spring season. There, you see the hookup from Spain Howard to Lentz. They gave Millbrook a 7-0 lead late in the first quarter.
And Fetterman and his teammates kind of found a way on that third drive to get things going on the ground, and then here was the touchdown. This is a really nice play call on the screen pass. It was Clark to Evans for the first touchdown for the Crusaders. Stephen Wright really was reading the defense. Really nice play call, the perfect time. Then his sophomore quarterback dished the ball out, and this is Donovan Shepard, who's had a big first half as well.
That one-handed catch came on a 3rd and 8 and set up this tie-breaking score. Clark to Beestick from 18 yards out. That was late in the second quarter. Gave Gibbons a 14-7 lead, and that's where we stand at halftime. Big injury, though, late in that first half. Jackson Fetterman for Cardinal Gibbons went down with what looked to be a right knee injury. No word on if he will return. First half stats, what sticks out?
Well, for rushing yards for Cardinal Gibbons, they really control things on the ground. They had some explosive passing plays as well, but I think they're going to lean on that running game. And for Millbrook, you've got to get some big plays through the air, try to find Grimes, and then the penalties. That's going to be a big area here in the second half.
Only 58 total yards against the Cardinal Gibbons defense. Crusaders get the ball when we come back to begin the third quarter. Millbrook looking to take that one next big step inside the Cap 7 and really get the attention across the state. Number 2, Cardinal Gibbons up on Millbrook by a touchdown. Inching toward the start of the third quarter between Cardinal Gibbons and Millbrook. 14-7 Crusaders leading. Patrick Keenis and Jay Sohnhalter with you from Raleigh, where the Crusaders, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the 4A runner-up last year, beaten by East Forsyth by a field goal. Second straight title for East Forsyth. Millbrook is trying to inject itself into that conversation. They've never won a state championship. They're 3-0. They feel like there's the highest ceiling really ever for this football program, which has a pretty good storied past, especially in their backfield.
Yeah, and this year, you look at Wesley Grimes, and he's the star prospect, only a junior. But when you go back into the past years, they've had some outstanding college prospects. You go back to Keith Marshall, who went to Georgia, one of the top recruits in the country, had a great career with Todd Gurley down between the hedges in Athens. And then also now a more recent player, Larry Roundtree at Missouri. He a 3-star recruit out of Millbrook, and he's a guy during the Senior Bowl week, the scouts were raving about him, and he's going to get drafted and a guy that's really going to make a big impact in the NFL. And what he did at Missouri, he was a prominent player in the SEC. So Clarence Inscore, Diego Pounds at UNC this year. This is a program that's developed high-quality prospects, but a team this year that you really see the depth, a lot of talent spread out throughout this roster, but especially on the defensive side, you see a lot of young talent, rangy guys that are only going to get better because there are a lot of sophomores and juniors in the front seven.
There's a look at Clarence Inscore, who again roamed these hallways at Millbrook High School as a student. This is his home. He's a 20th year as a head coach. And let's focus a little bit more on number 1 right there on your screen. That is Wesley Grimes. And what I appreciate about what Grimes has been able to do during this pandemic, you see on the screen, 6'3", 180. Before the pandemic hit about a year and a half ago, when these guys really last took the football field, he was about 6 feet, maybe 6'1", wasn't as big as what he was. But he took the pandemic seriously as far as working on his craft, getting stronger, working on his quickness, working on his hands. And then, Jay, we found out he became a really good self-promoter, using other downtime to put videos together, to put reels together for coaches around the country to begin to take notice, because I'm no longer the 6-foot-tall Wesley Grimes sophomore. I'm now an emerging major Division I prospect, and man, has that taken hold, because coaches around the country have noticed.
Yeah, you have to know how to market yourself, and when you develop and grow, you're a completely different player now than you were maybe 2 months ago, and it's important to work with Clarence Inscore and the coaching staff to get that information out there and to see the improvement for him. I mean, it's been huge. He was already kind of known by everybody, but now seeing the big steps that he's taking coming into his body, the improvements with his strength, his route running, everything that he's been able to do during this off time. That's why you're seeing ACC, SEC really pick up on it.
Yeah, and again, if you haven't been following the recruiting process of Grimes, who again is just a junior, but the senior season right around the corner a couple of months from now, schools that either have offered or have shown a lot of interest, name schools. You're talking about Tennessee, you're talking about Vanderbilt, you're talking about NC State and Duke and Appalachian State and Coastal Carolina. It's a very long list and getting longer, especially as he continues to put up monster numbers over the first couple of weeks of this spring season. Now that said, a performance against a team like Cardinal Gibbons and the press corners and the physical secondary that he's seen today, this is where you want your star to put up a big game. And frankly, 2 catches on 3rd downs in the opening drive has basically been it. He's been on lockdown. We'll see how they make adjustments to free him up in the second half.
And this is important film for everybody that wants to kind of be recruited at the next level and get that visibility. College coaches are going to want to see you against great competition. So if you're on Cardinal Gibbons, these coaches are going to want to see you against a team like Millbrook and vice versa. So important for these guys to really have their best performance when they're facing really good competition.
All right, so Millbrook on offense to begin this third quarter, trailing 14-7. Again, Grimes wearing number 1 in the navy blue at the bottom of the screen. Spainhour will get things in motion. Millbrook looking to make an early third quarter statement. This is Nick Hudson retreating and thrown down for a big loss in the backfield. And for Cardinal Gibbons, we've said his name many times, the sophomore Pierce Johnston.
Miscommunication up front. Johnston coming through unblocked. It looked like they blocked down, and Johnston was just sitting on the edge. And he didn't bite on the fake. He just came upfield. Easy tackle, and this defensive line has done a nice job tonight of making first in situations turn into second and long. And now the offensive line from Millbrook is going to have to hold up here and give Spainhour time to throw.
And back at the 16-yard line, a loss of 3. And this is not, if you're the Wildcats, where you want to be, because this defense for the Crusaders, they feel like they're in the playbook right now, Millbrook, and there's another example. And the ball might have come loose inside the 10-yard line. Fighting for it is Jake Ladd, and out of there with it, Millbrook's Jaden Felton, and it will be 3rd down. The referee holds up 3 fingers. And a near fatal blow as that ball did get knocked loose from Spainhour again.
It was Johnston and Ladd. We've been calling Ladd's name all night long. Look at big number 44 beating the block up front, coming along, sandwiching Spainhour with Johnston. And that ball on the ground, Millbrook lucky to jump on top.
And now another negative play. You can pin the ears back if you're the Crusaders on that defensive line here. 3rd and 17. Spainhour, 4-man rush with a stunt. Steps up and avoids it. Short toss over the middle, finds his man. That's Chris Jenke. And Jenke to about the 29. And that is going to be enough. Now it's going to be a little bit short. I take it back for a 1st down. 4th down coming up for Millbrook.
Spainhour, ability to get out of pressure. Look at him manipulate the pocket. He's looking over towards the right, then came back towards the center, and then felt the pressure, got out of it, but kept his eyes up. And then Jenke running a crossing route was almost able to pick it up.
Just a little bit short, 4th down. And Jenke, who caught that pass, will now punt it away for Millbrook. So this will be a 3 and out. A 1-hop snap gets to him. And a tight spiral that will land inside the 40 and take a Wildcat roll for another 8 yards. And it will be down by Millbrook's Jacob Faraci. So Millbrook punts away. Hunter Kreutz on the punt. So Jenke, who caught that pass, did not boot it away. And best punt we've seen on the night for Millbrook. 14-7, Cardinal Gibbons on top. And here comes Connor Clark.
We talked about Grimes getting the ball, highlighted for Millbrook, and we open discussed B-Stick and what he's been able to do. Touchdown the first half. I think Gibbons has to continue to involve him in the game plan.
Right, Clark will give it. This is B-Stick looking for room and went right after Jalen Donaldson. Good job slowing him down on the perimeter.
Donaldson coming over from the basketball court. Not much time to transition. How about the season for the Wildcat basketball program, winning the state championship in the fashion that they won it? We were there, Patrick. That was a great achievement.
Yeah, and while Eric Vanderheiden and some of the other players on that Millbrook team got headlines, Jalen Donaldson was critical to the basketball championship with just a lot of diving and blue-collar plays. Ball comes loose. Millbrook is on it. Second turnover of the game by Cardinal Gibbons. And again, the slick football and a helmet on the ball forced that one out, and it's recovered by Millbrook. And it is Cooper Rutledge on the fumble recovery.
That ball just popped up in Rutledge. Perfect spot. And this defense for Millbrook, they've been tough. I mean, they're very physical up front. You see Rutledge, the junior, another guy that's going to begin to see more and more recruiting attention with that frame. Talented guy on the edge and giving the ball back to his offense.
Well, here's the chance for the Wildcats. Again, their total offense is still well below 100 yards in this entire game, but they get a very short field. Drive begins at the 32-yard line. Lentz in motion. Spainhour moves the pocket, got hit as he released, and floats high into the air and out of bounds, luckily for Millbrook. Right as Spainhour was loading up and bringing that arm forward, he got a hit from behind, and that ball could have gone anywhere.
He was going towards Grimes. In the defensive line of Gibbons, we'll see here. This is a rollout. Defenders chasing down Spainhour. Skiersey, the linebacker, coming through, and that ball shot up in the air when the contact was made.
Early stages, third quarter. What has been tough sledding for Spainhour and Millbrook's offense. Three receivers to the right on 2nd and 10. Crusaders are bringing 6. It's the run blitz, and another Crusader in the backfield tripping up Donaldson. How many times have we said it tonight? This time Carter Skierce again gets inside. It's as if they're in the offensive backfield at the snap.
Skierce with the A-gap blitz. You see there, no hesitation, aggressive. This drive, he's been living in the backfield.
Couple-yard loss, third down. And for Millbrook, after forcing the turnover, you have to get points out of this drive for the Wildcats. They'll have 2 plays here, 3rd and 12. Spainhour faking, stepping up, fires one toward the end zone, has a man, and just over the outstretched arms of Jenke. He was wide open at the goal line. But that throw from Spainhour just sailed a tad, just enough to clear Jenke.
See him step up in the pocket here, and he saw him wide open, just a little bit too high. One he wants back. An easy touchdown for the Wildcats.
The reaction on that Millbrook sideline, everybody's hands in unison and went to the top of their heads. Cardinal Gibbons does not give you a free shot like that often, and that might have been the one chance. 4th down now for Millbrook. Line to reach is the 22. Wesley Grimes, is this his time? Bottom of the screen, wearing number 1. They need him to beat Cardinal Gibbons tonight. Pressure again. Flushed out Spainhour. In trouble, and down he goes. Back outside the 45. And Cardinal Gibbons denies Millbrook after giving up the football on a fumble. Donovan Dozier puts this Wildcat drive 6 feet under. It remains 14-7 Cardinal Gibbons. Crusader football when we return. Millbrook forces a turnover in plus territory, but cannot convert into points. It remains 14-7 Cardinal Gibbons, and it's Crusader football with 8 minutes left in this third quarter, and another big missed opportunity for Millbrook.
Yeah, and that sack was huge for Gibbons to get off the field, but also gain better field position here. Really good spot here to start the drive.
And on the ground on first down, good first down yardage. That's going to be close to 10 on first down for Cardinal Gibbons. And Brock Biestick, again with the injury to Jackson Fetterman late in that first half, it looks like Biestick is now picking up a lot of his carries.
He's going to be more involved. And for Gibbons, you have the turnover, your defense gives you the ball back. They do their job. If you're an offensive player, this is where you say, hey guys, we got to pick it up. and extend this lead to a 2-score lead. And, another penalty, and we'll see here, just on the line of scrimmage early on this season, we've seen so many teams. It's so hard to be consistent up front and play clean.
It's a legal procedure against Joey Oliveri, junior left guard. 14-7 Cardinal Gibbons. We said it earlier in the game about Gibbons and the many opportunities Millbrook had deep in the red zone before they finally punched it in against Cardinal Gibbons. I mean, there is no panic with this Cardinal Gibbons defense. They trust themselves, they trust their schemes, and trust each other. And after the penalty, this will get them close to a first down to about the 45 in Millbrook territory. It's Beestick again.
And he's committed to Georgetown, so an outstanding school and football program up there. And he's a guy that you've seen him develop in the past couple of years, and he's always been a weapon, but really playing the best football of his career right now. And in this offense, it's so much fun when you have the ability to play inside and run the football, but also be a weapon on the outside as a wide receiver too.
2 games into this season, he's already 130 on the ground and over 130 through the air. Third and short, low snap dug out of there. Shepard angles right, first down and more, and brought down around the 35-yard line. Tackled by Nolan Hatley, the junior linebacker. And the clock will tick down toward the midway mark of this third quarter, and the Crusaders on the move.
Look at this run by Shepard. Waiting for the offensive line to set up. A nice pancake block by Militello up front, the right tackle. He's been making plays all night. So a big passing play that he converted, and there another run for first down.
NC 529 first down. Never too early or too late to start saving for education. Running left with some space. Kicking it the outside. Beestick toward the sideline. Into the end zone. Touchdown. Brock Beestick takes it home. Just kind of dancing his way, looking for some space around the outside, using some blockers, and Cardinal Gibbons up 2 scores.
Look at 23 Shepard. Watch his block. Boom. Pancake. And that cleared the path for Beestick. That running back tandem working in unison together. See the big block. Shepard had the carry before, then clearing the path, and then Beestick just following his teammate easily into the end zone.
35-yard touchdown run by Beestick. Brought to you by West Shore Home. Convert your old bathtub into a modern and spacious walk-in shower in just one day. 6:04 left, third quarter. And it is now a 21-7 Cardinal Gibbons lead. 3 unanswered touchdowns after they surrendered a 7-0 lead late in the first quarter to Millbrook.
And this offense is really clicking now, and it's because of the blocking downfield, the unselfish play, and you just see the depth of this offense with the play calling, the wide receivers doing their job when the ball isn't in the air, helping out and blocking. That's where you get big gains, is when everybody's doing their part, and Beestick is just taking over now with the second touchdown.
And just so much more confidence for this Cardinal Gibbons squad. I mean, the defense has been on its heels a bit, backed up in the red zone often in that opening quarter, and it took about 7 or 8 shots for Millbrook to finally get it in for Clarence Inscore. But since then, I mean, the defense has been almost impenetrable, and the offense has opened things up. Thanks to Ian Evans has had a big game. Fetterman before his injury late in that first half. Shepard has been solid, and now Brock Beestick is becoming the featured guy.
Well, and with Gibbons having a 2-touchdown lead, there's still plenty of time for Millbrook, but they're going to have to go to more of a passing attack here, and that's going to feed in then into the Gibbons defensive line, who's had success rushing the quarterback.
And ready now for a West Shore home kickoff. And it is on the way. Will land at about the 20-yard line. Picked up by Lentz, turning forward, and not much on this return. A swarming special teams stop made by Cardinal Gibbons. Well, we talk about the confidence that Cardinal Gibbons has right now on both sides of the football, offense and defense. Not a lot of confidence right now with Millbrook. They've been stymied in almost every turn against this Crusader defense. Now is the time where it needs, they need to figure out a way to get the football to Wesley Grimes, number 1, because not only has he only had those 2 receptions in that first drive, Jay, They haven't even looked his way since midway through the first quarter.
Yeah, and I think you've got to get him going on crossing routes to try to get that safety kind of tangled up there and get him on the move or jet sweeps, whatever you can do to get him the football. They've got to find a way to highlight him early on in this drive.
He will run his way, and a deep ball down that left sideline looking for him, but it's 5 yards over his head and right into the teeth of double coverage. It's generally been Will Mason on the coverage for Cardinal Gibbons as a penalty marker comes in, and a big hit was taken by Spainhour, and he is a bit wobbly. And this is likely going to be roughing the passer on Cardinal Gibbons. We'll see if we can get a re-rack right there on exactly what kind of hit Spainhour just took. And here's the call. And it is roughing the passer against Cardinal Gibbons. To the senior quarterback's credit, lifted to his feet. We'll see how late this hit was. Bearing down. Some upper body contact. Protecting the quarterback as best as they can.
Well, and when you're a defender and you're going in after that ball's released, you have to know that the number one goal is to protect the quarterback, and a big penalty for Millbrook.
Another big hit in the backfield. Skeers again. Just again inside the playbook of the Wildcats.
This Skeers fly through here. Number 30, reading the play, diagnosing it, and then finishing it off. He's such a good run blitzer, and he sees it, and then he makes tackles in the backfield. Another injury for Millbrook.
21-7, Cardinal Gibbons with the lead, and for the second time in 3 plays, a Wildcat is down. We'll check on his status when we come back. Well, there's the injured Millbrook Wildcat running back Nick Hudson, feeling that right side, walked off the field under his own power after taking a heavy hit on that last play. 5:40 left, third quarter, 21-7, Cardinal Gibbons on top. This is a 2nd and 12 play, and there's a bobble and a drop by Wesley Grimes on his first real opportunity to catch a football in about an hour and a half.
And those are tough when you know that you're going to get that ball. You just have to wait on it and then make a move, and we'll see here, does he keep his head on the ball? And there you can see looking up, trying to make a move. He just didn't follow it into his hands.
And that now presents a 3rd and long for Millbrook. And right now the Wildcats are being battered a bit. Guys getting hurt. Stars aren't getting the opportunities that they need to get back in this game. And meanwhile, the Cardinal Gibbons defense has just been lights out. Giving Spainhour and the Wildcats virtually no time to execute anything. They will rush 4. They get into the backfield again, and Spainhour will go down again. And one more time, it's Pierce Johnston, the sophomore, off of that defensive line. And it's not a replay, Jay. We've seen this about a half a dozen times in this one tonight.
Look at Johnson's get off there. Went towards the right, shoved his man down. Then on the inside, he just tracked down Spainhour. He was relentless, using his hands and creating big plays for his defense.
And Hunter Crute is on to punt it away for the 2nd time in a row. And this is going to land short of the 50-yard line. Take a Wildcat roll inside the 40. And it'll be delicately touched by Jacob Fritsch. 21-7, Cardinal Gibbons, 4:45 left. And again, a congratulations to Pierce Johnston. And Jay, let's talk about how that is stopped if you're the offensive line now for Millbrook. It almost forces you to bring in maybe an extra running back to pick up. It's not even a blitzing linebacker, it's just a member of the 4-man front.
Yeah, and you've got to bring in an extra man to help block, and then also you're not going to be able to run those double moves, the deep routes, so it's changing up your game plan. And also allows the secondary for Cardinal Gibbons to stay back double team, because if your front 4 is getting pressure, you don't have to bring up a blitzer and bring an extra guy in the box.
Basic for a couple. 4.5 left in this third quarter. What does that do then for the play calling if that's what the Wildcats elect to do to give Spainhour an opportunity to get the ball out to Grimes and company?
Well, they're going to have to get rid of the ball quick, so you can't have those long drop back passes, you've got to get it out 1, 2, 3 and gone, and that's not going to allow for a lot of big play opportunities. That's going to lead into Cardinal Gibbons' hands because you don't mind giving up something in front of you. You just don't want to give up the big play.
Blake Raphael, number 5 on the field for Cardinal Gibbons. 2nd and 8. Direct snap. And out to about the 45-yard line.
For Cardinal Gibbons now, the way you've been able to run the football, gain momentum up front, your offensive line all night long has done a nice job. Use this clock. You want to go down, score a touchdown, obviously, but you want to really maintain possession here and impose your will up front.
Well, for the Crusaders, Stephen Wright said, don't be surprised if we see Brock Biestick as our kind of wildcat quarterback, and that's what he's doing right now here for Cardinal Gibbons. Trying to get the ball more in their playmakers' hands. And up the middle, Biestick again. That'll be a first down out to midfield. As if the Wildcat defenders didn't have enough to be concerned about. Now some direct snaps to Brock Biestick, who's been shaking his way around this Millbrook defense most of the nights.
Left side of the offensive line created the path up front. Monaco, very as well, just sealing off the edge. And you see now these running backs, they get to that second level, they're finishing their runs, they're being very physical.
And see 5:29 first down. Back on the field, Connor Clark. He will loft one into traffic, and that's incomplete toward the sideline. Dangerous ball looking for Biestick with a couple of defenders around.
For Gibbons, you've got to protect the football. You have the momentum right now. Do not put the ball in harm's way. That's what's going to allow Millbrook to get back in this ball game, is turnover.
And that was a pass into harm's way right there.
Double coverage, that's one where Clark, the young sophomore, he needs to either take off and run up the middle or throw it out of bounds. This is a good job in the secondary coming up in coverage.
Showing blitz Millbrook. Biestick escapes one. Marker came in. Might have been a hand up around the face mask area. So Biestick dropped down right around the line of scrimmage, but this is probably going on Millbrook. No, instead it goes on to offensive hold instead. Goes against Cardinal Gibbons. And that's going to be the hold right there. I thought maybe that reach up around the face mask might have been the call, but instead it was the right tackle called for the hold. So 2:43 remaining in this third quarter. 21-7. Cardinal Gibbons on top of Millbrook. Millbrook grabbed a 7-0 lead late in the first quarter. But a couple of touchdown passes from Connor Clark in that second quarter put Gibbons ahead. And then Biestick ran it in from 35 yards out earlier in this third quarter for a 2-touchdown lead. Wide receiver screen, dodging through traffic. And this is Ian Evans inside the 40-yard line to about the 36. They have run that play beautifully twice, both times to Evans in this game on second or third and long situations.
And Evans coming back to the football. You see here just letting his block set up in front of him and then the quickness taking over. Stephen Wright loves that third down screen play, just getting the defense off balance. You throw it short, the defense is expecting a long pass. You get the ball in your playmakers' hands and let them do the rest.
Scored a touchdown on that very play in the second quarter from 18 yards out. It is a first down for Gibbons. Contact in the backfield, and up for a couple of yards, Donovan Shepard before he is driven back.
And if you're a defender for Millbrook right now, you cannot allow points. You've got to get off the field. You've already gotten a couple turnovers. You need to be telling the guys in the huddle, hey, we got to script the ball. Get a turnover. We got to get off the field here, because you just feel like at this point, if Cardinal Gibbons can use this clock up, get another touchdown, it's going to be tough for Millbrook. So it's on the defense right now to create a big play.
And that said, the defense has already forced a couple of turnovers, but Millbrook hasn't optimized. 2nd and 8. Hand off left side. The ball does come loose, and Millbrook around the 25 may have it. Another helmet on the ball, and Raphael gave it up, and it's Millbrook unable to come up with it. It will be Cardinal Gibbons football. That ball was live. And Jay, somehow that was the opportunity Millbrook was waiting for. Knee didn't appear down.
Ball's loose.
Ball was loose, knocked out of Raphael's hands.
clearly loose.
But it will remain Cardinal Gibbons football. A reprieve for Raphael and the Gibbons. 21-7, inside a minute for the third. Clark will pull it right out of the gut of Shepard and take it upfield for about 4. (21-7). Cardinal Gibbons on top. Beestick will call out the play here, which will probably be the last of this third quarter. And now Beestick will not be the Wildcat quarterback. Clark is back in the backfield, giving a Wildcat defense a whole lot to think about here. Shepard bursting forward, gets it inside the 20, and that will bring up third down as the third quarter clock will tick down. 21-7, Cardinal Gibbons on top. They tack on a third quarter touchdown on a 35-yard run by Beestick and try to spoil the home contest here for Millbrook. 21-7, Gibbons after 3. (21-7), Cardinal Gibbons on top of Millbrook as we begin the fourth quarter. Cardinal Gibbons trying to get to 3-0, the state runner-up at 4A last year. Connor Clark, sophomore quarterback, facing a 3rd and 1, calls his number, slopes to the left, and should have enough for the first down before David Santiago dragged him down near the sideline. Take it back, Beestick on the carry for the first down for Cardinal Gibbons.
Yeah, they really trust Beestick to get those tough yards. We'll see here the play call coming up.
Well, they marked him a little bit short, so it's 4th down now for Cardinal Gibbons. 2 touchdowns up. They're at the 18-yard line. And again, they can begin to salt this game away if they convert here and then score. High backfield for the first time in the game. Handoff, and this is a first down and more, and a tumbling tackle made inside the 10-yard line. First down, Cardinal Gibbons bursting through Blake Raphael.
He's the power back. We'll see here. Quick handoff, and once you get past that first line of defense, and the box was packed in there. You get through to the second level. Not much secondary help over the top. He was almost there, able to carry that into the end zone. The offensive line did the job on 4th down.
Another 529, NC 529 first down. You have a spot, take your shot. 1st and goal, changing directions. Touchdown, Blake Raphael and Cardinal Gibbons. From 5 yards out, converting on a 4th down. One play later, into the end zone. It's 27-7, Cardinal Gibbons.
Raphael really run behind his offensive line, just clearing the path up front, staying patient. Aiden Ryan, the senior, first guy there knocking down his defender. But this drive was all about up front, winning the line of scrimmage, pounding the rock, using the clock, and then finally executing for the touchdown.
So from 5 yards out, Blake Raphael, 2nd touchdown of the year. It's a West Shore home touchdown. Convert your old bathtub into a modern and spacious walk-in shower in just one day. And some issues on the extra point, Jay.
Yeah, and let's see here. It looks like they're trying to say that they got in for a 2-point conversion, and it looks like they did not.
We'll take another look because the lobbying was clear by Cardinal Gibbons and Carter Skeers. Here it is. It was a direct snap to Skeers, just driving up the middle. And perhaps the officials weren't quite ready for that sneak either. And it looks like his body is well over the goal line, but they say it was unsuccessful. 2 points for Carter Skeers. He'll never get back in his life.
Yeah, and that was like a quarterback sneak from the 5-yard line, and he almost got in. And the ball, when he was on the ground, was over the goal line there. But Gibbons trying to catch Millbrook, the trick play on the extra point attempt.
So it's 27-7, the lead for the Crusaders. 10:49 remaining in this fourth quarter. And there's a look at Raphael. So a couple of touchdown runs by the Crusaders in this second half. One by Beestick, the other by Raphael. 2 touchdown passes by Clark in the second quarter. 27-7, Gibbons leading. And here's the West Shore home kickoff. Knocked down around the 10-yard line. Picked up by Leacock, and he's tackled short of the 15-yard line by Jameel Tucker of Cardinal Gibbons. And if this was meant to be kind of the coming out game for Millbrook, especially buttressing their win over Leesville Road last week, this is not the type of performance that they needed or wanted to see, but it also gives them a good barometer on just how far they have to go, because they could see this team another month down the road in the playoffs.
Both sides knew this was going to be a tough test, and Millbrook, I think the thing that they wish they could go back and change is taking advantage of those turnovers they got. They weren't able to execute and put points up on the board after they got the turnovers, and that's really been the difference. Cardinal Gibbons has picked things up on the offensive end, but they've given the ball back to Millbrook. They just weren't able to convert those opportunities.
Spainhauer quick out to the right side, finds his man, and this is Wesley Grimes finally bringing one in and knocked on the sideline around the 31-yard line. Third catch of the game for Grimes. The other 2 came in the opening series for Millbrook. He's been blanketed defensively, had 1 drop in the previous series. This is the first time we've really seen Grimes in some open space.
And they're giving him a quick passing play out on the perimeter, just getting the ball in his hands and letting him do the work, because it's obvious passing situations coming up, but you can't throw the deep ball every play, because the secondary is going to sit on that. So just get the ball out quick, let your guys do damage.
And the fact that Spainhauer has not had nearly enough time to even think about a long pass downfield. They've been in his grill all game long, and there's a kind of a squirming catch made by Grimes, low to the ground. Never had a chance to kind of straighten up and move forward. And picks up a couple of yards. So back-to-back targets for Grimes. But this is what Cardinal Gibbons is very willing to concede.
And that clock continuing to move, so as long as this Gibbons defense doesn't give up the big play, hey, we'll keep everything underneath in front of us, make the tackle, and shorten this game.
Gain of 1 on that reception to Grimes. 2nd and 9 from the 30. 2 minutes gone by in this fourth quarter. And forward Spainhauer takes a bullet of a snap. More trouble in the backfield. Now he will tuck it and run to the 40. Stays upright, 45. And just short to midfield. Nice job by Spainhauer, who's taken some heavy shrapnel from this Cardinal Gibbons defense. He was not about to slide feet first here and give himself up. He wanted to unload a little bit of damage on his own.
There's a 6'3" senior finishing off this run. It's good to see him being physical, trying to get the extra yardage.
And they play good for another NC 5:29 first down. You have a spot, take your shots. 27-7 Crusaders lead. Early minutes of this final quarter. But Millbrook putting together one of its better drives offensively of the game. That slips a bit out of Spainhauer's hands and is knocked away incomplete. And there's Will Mason on the coverage. And again, we're certainly not seeing Spainhauer at his best, even when he does have a little bit of time to throw. And again, the slick football, we've seen a couple of passes kind of squirts out of his fingertips on the release.
Yeah, with all the rain here that we've had in the past couple days, the field, really good condition, but there is that kind of slickness to it. The ball, tough to handle right now. You can just tell that some of these passing plays aren't coming out as smooth as they normally would.
Grimes deployed up to the top of the screen on 2nd and 10. Millbrook down 3 scores. Spainhauer pressured again and throws in the right flat for Leacock. And he did get his hands beneath it, but not a lot of yardage on it. 3rd down.
Good pressure up the middle. And again, the clock continuing to roll down. For Cardinal Gibbons, this defense knows this is 4-down territory, so they've got 2 downs. They've got to stop this offense. And for Millbrook here, knowing You've got 2 downs to go. You don't have to get it all here. You just have to make it more manageable at the very least. You cannot give up a sack in this situation.
So 3rd down and really a long 6 here for Millbrook. Inside Crusader territory. That snap goes right through the hands, but bounces right back up to Spainhauer. Launching against his body and nearly intercepted at the 35 by Cardinal Gibbons. There is a penalty marker down back in the offensive backfield. There's a faulty snap, a penalty in the backfield, and an ill-advised pass that was almost picked off.
Looks like it's going to be a hold on Millbrook.
So if this does go against Millbrook, Cardinal Gibbons can elect to decline it, set up 4th down, or push Millbrook back another 10 yards, which is evidently what they will choose to do. 8:20 left in the 4th, and here's a look.
So you're on the left side of the screen as this ball was snapped to the left. There you see the hold. It's a little pull, a tug. It doesn't take much. It's a good call, though.
Cyril Rotz, number 77. So this is 3rd down and longer from the 35-yard line. Stevens in motion. Stepping up, dodging some traffic, and now fires to the right side, and that is going to be a catch. Back inside Crusaders territory. That is Stevens, the man in motion. Still short of the 1st down. And now it is 4th for the Wildcats.
Look at Stevens as he comes back to get his hands underneath. See that left hand?
Coin flip. but given the catch, that's one of the better throws we've seen from Spainhauer.
Critical 4th down coming up here.
That's a must for Millbrook. But getting time to throw has been virtually impossible against this Crusader defense. And on 4th and 7, you think they're going to sit back and play prevent defense? No, they're all going to be coming here for the Crusaders. Need to reach the 42. 5-man coming. Quick release pass has no chance. And that is all on the pressure of the front 7 for Cardinal Gibbons. We've seen that all night. So Millbrook will turn it over on downs. Back to the Crusaders midway through the 4th. Gibbons up 20 on the road. Well, we want to thank United Rentals for powering tonight's Friday Night Rivals football game. United Rentals, you're building the future. We are here to help. Thanks to everyone for your support on this broadcast. It is chilly up there, right? Jay, we were this close to being on the roof to call this game tonight. Instead, we're in an unused concession stand, but it's warmer and we're protected from the elements. Unlike our brothers and sisters out with the cameras and the sound and stuff here tonight.
That was Curtis out there. Stay warm, Curtis. Everyone else, stay warm.
Cardinal Gibbons football, 1st down after forcing a turnover on downs, and now the Crusaders can work on the clock here. It's been a big night for that man, Donovan Shepard, for Cardinal Gibbons.
Patrick, how about the depth at the running back position for the Crusaders? Shepard, B-Stick, Raphael, Fetterman. Everybody that's been involved in the game plan has made an impact. Different types of running backs. Somebody in the huddle, when Stephen Wright puts in a guy, he knows that he can trust him to make a play.
8 on 1st down for Shepard, 2nd and 2. Swinging to the outside, B-Stick. Beats Santiago to the sideline, turned it upfield and takes it down. They're going to mark him down around the 36. Stepped out a couple of yards short of where he was pushed out. And it's a 1st down for Cardinal Gibbons.
Look at Shepard. He's the leading blocker up front. He gets the carry the last play there, helping out B-Stick. And B-Stick, as a running back wide receiver combination player, you look at his size. He's a big kid there, so he can handle the punishment in the ground game. But he's also agile enough with a lot of quickness and speed to go outside, split out the wide receiver position, and beat linebackers that are trying to cover him.
NCDHHS 1st down. You have a spot, take your shot. First down run off the left side for about 4. One more time, Donovan Shepard, just a junior. I mean, a lot of the skill players on this team for Cardinal Gibbons and Stephen Wright, underclassmen. Some outstanding sophomores, but a lot of critical juniors on this squad. Connor Clark, their quarterback, is a sophomore. Beestick is a senior. And a couple of seniors on that very good offensive line for Cardinal Gibbons. Again, Gibbons, just their 3rd game of the year. Stephen Wright said that they played their first game. Then they had one player before week 2 test positive for COVID-19. So they went on a 10-day shutdown. Came back for week 3 last week, which was their win over Sanderson. But he said that was almost like a season reset. It felt like it was week 1 all over again. So some of the issues, some of the mistakes, some of the warts we've seen in this game from Cardinal Gibbons can be somewhat explained away by the stop and start of this season that they have now encountered a couple of times.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Gibbons and many schools, they haven't had that normal consistency that you would in a football season. I think on the bright side of things, though, you look at the potential of this team. They haven't had the practice time that they've been accustomed to from the past. But look at how much better they're going to get. This is a team that's already doing a lot of good things. They're only going to get better.
Nice hit in the backfield. Tyler Higgins-Hill, he is a sophomore, plays on both lines for Millbrook, and he's a guy that Clarence Inscore really highlighted with us yesterday when we talked about him. Just his intangibles, his physical strength up there, and the understanding of the game at such a young age.
And he's an agile guy for such a young player. He knows how to use his body and playing on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Very physical. And there, he just moved his man out of the way and jumped in for the tackle.
This is 4th and 4. Watch out for the hard count here. And they will hand it off, and that might be just enough. Going to be close. Depends on the spot on that carry by Raphael. They needed 4. He might have gotten him 4 1/4. And he did not get it. So Millbrook gets the stop on Raphael. And we have some disagreement, Jay, on the spot of that football on that carry by Raphael. It was 4th and 4. Raphael got close, and the official who evidently marked it is the one with his back to the sideline of Cardinal Gibbons. And the call is going to stand, but it still won't. They disagree, Jay.
Disagreement.
It's a good thing it's a 20-point lead for Cardinal Gibbons, but they wanted to put this game away and run the clock down on that drive alone. So Millbrook will get the football back with 4:29 to go. 3 scores down. The good news for Millbrook is they have big play guys like Wesley Grimes. The bad news is they've been unable to have any kind of time to make a pass, get to Grimes deep downfield. They screen it out to the right side, and Stevens over the 30 and nothing else. Defense again collapses.
Well, in this situation, you got a 20-point deficit, but you've got to play up tempo. You can't look at the scoreboard. You have to execute play to play. First of all, that protection up front is going to be important on the offensive line. It gives Spainhour time to get rid of the football. But you're just looking for execution. And again, this is what you practice during the week is 4-minute offense, different situations, trying to come back in a ball game. This is what Clarence Inscore is going to look at the film of tomorrow and this weekend, is seeing how my team execute in different situations throughout the game.
And Malcolm Reed now locked in on Wesley Grimes. They move the pocket to the right, reversing. Spainhour lost the football, bounces back near the 20. Donaldson trying to get to it, and he will, to keep possession to Millbrook. I've seen that a few times out of this game tonight for Spainhour. Either a hit has knocked the ball loose, or this time moving back right to left. And somebody looked like Joshua Stone King, perhaps the sophomore, got in there and just kind of flipped that ball out of the hands of Spainhour. And fortunately for the Wildcats, Jalen Donaldson was on it.
Stone King, 6'2", young player coming off the edge, and we talked about these guys, their height, their size, and their class. And a lot of these guys are young players that are going to have ample time to grow, develop, and continue to gain experience in the program.
3rd and long as we're beneath 3 minutes left in regulation. Backside pressure again. Spainhour over the middle, tipped it, incomplete. Well covered by Shelton Coley, number 4, comes up hopping a little bit, and the intended receiver, Ethan Lentz, slow to get up. It has been a bruising, tough, physical night for Millbrook against this Cardinal Gibbons squad.
Over the middle, that ball's in the air as Lentz reaches for it. And it came down hard.
Looked like the helmet went into the knee also of Coley, as Hunter Crute on the field to punt it away for Millbrook. 2:42 left in the 4th. And there is Coley still shaking out that hand, flexing out his knees. And the punt by Crute lands shy of the 50. And will quietly roll to a halt at the 41-yard line. So about 2.5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Cardinal Gibbons back on offense, in control now. 27-7 lead on Millbrook. Millbrook Wildcats scored the game's first touchdown in the opening quarter. Since then, 27 unanswered by Cardinal Gibbons. And they have really been in control of this contest since late in the 2nd quarter, early 3rd. The offense just has not been able to find enough daylight, find enough time to execute plays deep down the field as they wanted to get Wesley Grimes involved. But the defense has been the story in this one for Cardinal Gibbons. Taking over on after a punt with 2:32 left in this 4th quarter. And a whistle blown before Shepard took that handoff. There looked to be just a little bit of wobbling in the backfield for Cardinal Gibbons. And this will be 5 against the Crusaders. Well, Cardinal Gibbons back home to Broughton next week, and then they close things out in early April, Southeast Raleigh and Enloe. Enloe 0-3, Southeast Raleigh 0-2. Broughton entering this weekend still undefeated at 2-0. And meanwhile for Millbrook, they will go to Sanderson next week and then close out against Apex Friendship and then Broughton in their finale on April the 9th. And then the playoffs will follow the next week. So it is a shrunken season. You don't have a great deal of time to iron out all the mistakes, develop your talent. But as you know, both of these coaches told us over the last couple of days, you know, these players have sacrificed a lot. They're willing to do anything they can and love their game. They hate what they had taken away from them due to the virus in the fall. So any sacrifice they need to make to get this season to the state playoffs is what they will do.
Well, when you have something taken away from you, it makes you appreciate it that much more. And you know, when you're playing a football season, there's a lot of times where practice maybe isn't the most fun thing to do. You know, it's a long season, but now when you've gone through this pandemic and you have an opportunity to come out here this spring, both coaches talked about just the joy within their program for these guys to not only practice and play together, but just that camaraderie of being together and being back as a unit. It's meant so much for the players, but also the coaches as well, being as one and getting back to normal.
This is Beestick throwing, finds his teammate at the 35-yard line, racing toward the end zone. Jackson Fortney takes it in on 3rd and 10. The pass from Brock Beestick. And Cardinal Gibbons tacks on inside the final 2 minutes of the 4th quarter.
Let's see here, Beestick doing it all as a Wildcat quarterback. Looks like he's going to run, then steps back, and then a perfect pass over the top, and Fortney finishing it off, the junior wide receiver getting in the end zone. This is a Cardinal Gibbons offense. They're going to put a lot of pressure on you, even at the end of this ball game. They go through there. Look like it's going to be a run, but then they hit you over the top.
That's a West Shore home touchdown. Convert your old bathtub into a modern and spacious walk-in shower in just one day. So the long hookup, Beestick to Fortney. Perhaps a bit of a surprise to Millbrook. And the extra point is shanked and no good to the left. 1:37 remaining 4th quarter, 33-7 Cardinal Gibbons.
when you look at this Crusaders team, there's a lot to like. The passing game, the running game, the balance up front, the offensive line. There's a lot of seniors up there, and then over on the defensive side, it's all about the pressure. And that D-line helps out the secondary so much. So in the playoffs, what's going to be the key factors for this team? Well, I think number one is you got to protect the football. You can't have those turnovers that we saw here tonight. And then the penalties obviously is going to be another huge factor. Whoever plays clean in the playoffs is going to have a huge advantage. But when you go against some of these teams, have really good defenses, how do you manufacture points is so important. I think Gibbons has a lot of way they can create scoring opportunities, a lot of different weapons and depth.
And ready for another West Shore home kickoff. 33-7, the Cardinal Gibbons lead. Let's talk about what Stephen Wright has perhaps learned from his team tonight. This is week 3, but as we just mentioned, this feels like week 1 2.0 for the Crusaders. What have they learned? Because we're quickly approaching the end of the regular season in just a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, I think he's learned that he's got an offensive line that he can lean on. We saw this Crusaders team come out here the first drive, throwing passes in one-on-one situations. They weren't able to convert, and then he went to the ground. The O-line just really drove forward. The running backs got into a groove, and they worked really well together. And no matter what situation you're in, if it's bad weather, good weather, you want to lean on the ground game. And the running attack is a star point for this offense. And then you look at Clark developing as a passer. That's where you create that balance, is the one-on-one opportunities. When defenses load the box, you have to trust that your quarterbacks and wide receivers can convert those opportunities.
1:37 left. Millbrook football, again, has surrendered 33 unanswered to the Crusaders. In Spainhour, some developmental time. Gibbs up the middle. This is Donaldson across the 32, out the 33. One thing that I will say about this Cardinal Gibbons team, watching them up close here today, this is a championship caliber defense that we have seen. I mean, they are big, they are smart, they understand their assignments. I mean, there are no weaknesses anywhere that we've seen. They can cover, sideline to sideline. They can get in the backfield. They can snuff out your game plan as an offense. They can force turnovers. And even with the injury suffered by Fetterman in that first half, we've seen there's enough depth on the running attack for Cardinal Gibbons that they can take that kind of injury. I mean, this is a defense that can win a championship really on defense alone.
And they're a young defense. And they're guys that are going to continue to get better week to week. Yep. A lot of guys, this is their first varsity experience right now. This defensive line, in order to win a championship, I believe you have to have a foundation on the defensive line, and they've got it in all 3 levels of their defense. You see speed as well, and those are kind of key recipes to really being outstanding on that side of the ball.
Yeah, and coming into this broadcast, I don't think anybody expected that we would only call Grimes' name on a reception 4 times, and none of them were threatening catches for Cardinal Gibbons. 2 of those came in the first few minutes of the game, as we're now inside the final 20 seconds, but they have shut down one of the top wide receivers in the state and frankly in the Southeast in Wesley Grimes. Credit to Will Mason and the defensive schemes for Cardinal Gibbons in this ball game, because they took away the number 1 threat, and it's been a non-factor, and there's been nothing else for Clarence Inscore to really put together, because the defense was in his offensive backfield so fast he couldn't allow Spainhour an opportunity to figure out where he goes next. Timeout taken with 19 seconds left.
Well, that's a key point that you just brought up, is taking away that number 1 option. What's your game plan after that? And for Millbrook, when you go and try to highlight your other guys, that's the easy answer. If Grimes can't get the ball, then throw it to somebody else. But the defensive line didn't allow time, and that just really dominated the defensive side for Gibbons. They were able to really disrupt the timing of the Millbrook offense.
So one more snap should just about do it. 33-7 Cardinal Gibbons taking out Millbrook tonight. And an opportunity for some developmental time for the 2s and the 3s for Cardinal Gibbons. They still get into the backfield. Spainhour goes down back near the 50-yard line. Penalty marker comes in. Spainhour just took a vicious hit with 10 seconds left on that sack, and he comes up holding that left kidney area. Marker came in, and boy, Clarence Inscore, the head coach for Millbrook, was yards on the field because that play took place, that hit right in front of him. And going after your starting quarterback like that in a 33-7 game on what could be the last play is something that he's not going to take very kindly to. So he's down, and a couple of Crusaders kind of sandwiched in there. And there's Steve Spainhour standing up, and Clarence Inscore, the head coach, is just reaming and laying in to the referee there. Now on that replay, it didn't look as bad as what we thought in live time. Wasn't a helmet into the side, but Spainhour had certainly given up himself on that slide.
Yeah, it's about protecting your quarterback and fighting for your guys. And Spainhour, he's taken a lot of big shots tonight. He stayed in the ball game. He's been physical. He's a tough kid. And tonight it's not going to go the way his team would have liked it, but this Millbrook team still has a bright future as they navigate the rest of their season.
So they will mark off the penalty against Cardinal Gibbons, and we'll have likely just one more play. And there is Ford Spainhour, the senior quarterback, who again missed all of last year with a shoulder injury. Great leader to this program. And I think they're trying to decide how much time to put up on the clock. 10.5 seconds seems to be the decision here. But I think from Millbrook's perspective, a long pass play with a big deficit, going for 2 on an extra point as the scoreboard has gone down, and that's just what Millbrook wanted to see here. But a 2-point conversion when you're up big might have been a little salt in the wound. A long pass when you're down by 20 late in the fourth quarter, and the relentless attacking by the defense, and that didn't look to be a big cheap shot against Spainhour. But I think the aggregate is there's a lot of frustration built up, and they have just now officially ended this contest. Here, 33-7 is the final. It is now over. Cardinal Gibbons moves to 3-0, and Millbrook drops this contest against Cardinal Gibbons that they hoped would be kind of a coming-out appearance here in the Cap 7. But Cardinal Gibbons, 33 unanswered points after spotting Millbrook a first-quarter touchdown. They remain unbeaten. It's a final. Cardinal Gibbons 33, Millbrook 7. And Jay Sonhalter on the field with the Crusaders. The trophy ceremony is next. Well, Cardinal Gibbons, last year's 4A state runner-up, trying to take it to the final step this year. They remain unbeaten. A road win inside Cap 7 over Millbrook. 33-7, your final score. Patrick Keene is here. Jay Sonhalter is getting ready for the trophy presentation down on the field to Stephen Wright and the Cardinal Gibbons Crusaders. It was a dominating performance, especially by Cardinal Gibbons defense. They pitch a shutout from the second quarter on, and here is the trophy presentation to Stephen Wright and the still unbeaten Crusaders of Cardinal Gibbons. Couple of touchdown passes from sophomore quarterback Connor Clark, and a 33-7 Cardinal Gibbons victory over Millbrook. Well, all of us would like to take a minute to thank all the wonderful folks at West Shore Home, at Nissan, at NC Assist Loan, and Riddle and Brantley, who make all these games possible for you viewers tonight. We'd also like to thank our other great supporters for their contributions to Friday Night Rivals, NC 529, NC DHHS, and United Rentals. And we'd also especially like to thank all the participating high school administrators for their support. Cardinal Gibbons and our host right here at Millbrook High. Next Friday, Jay and I will be taking you through the Clayton Comets and Cleveland Rams. That is next Friday, right here on Friday Night Rivals. Again, your final score, Cardinal Gibbons 33, Millbrook 7. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. Congratulations to the Crusaders. They are now 3-0 as they take down Millbrook 33-7. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Thanks for watching, and good night from Raleigh.